trying to put some pressure on, but he only has some Marines. He should be moving out his tanks as well to try to secure this expansion, or else I'm just going to be able to do this and kind of pick off his Marines. So although he is denying the entrance into his base, he really needs to be pushing out a little bit. So in the meantime, I am pumping out Void Rays and Immortals. I'm keeping my Void Rays back because I don't want to expose my hand just yet. My Observer out here to show me what he is trying to do, because he definitely needs an expansion. He should be pretty close to mined out at his base. He only has a couple of mineral patches left. But I have Immortals and Zealots now with legs, so this guy is going to be in a lot of trouble. But he has this huge Marine force, so let's see how I'm going to be able to deal with this. I am able to snipe out a tank, but those Marines are doing tons of damage to those Immortals. My Stalkers are busy on the orbital command here. I am backing off, trying to kill these Marines away from the tank fire. Looks like I will be able to do that, trying to save my Immortals. Zealots charging in on those Marines. I'm going to have to back off for now. Very weak orbital command right now. But he was able to effectively gain this position. See, once he moved those tanks out, he was able to push me back a little bit. So for Terran players who are trying to learn right now, who are trying to learn how to secure ground, definitely move out your tanks with your units to try to secure that position. That's what Rainmaker needed to do a long time ago. So I'm realizing that my Stalkers right now probably not the best unit for those tanks, so I'm trying to get some Zealots against those tanks and Marines and Immortals to back me up, and I have those Void Rays for some more maneuverability and firepower. So you'll see in just a little bit what I mean by how I like to use these over maybe Colossus or something like that. You know, that I'm thinking about, maybe Colossus would have been great, but against those tanks, those Colossus could have been in a lot of trouble. So that's why I still kind of do like those Void Rays. So just kind of depends how I'm feeling on the day, or at the time. So this guy is securing this ramp right here. So now he is effectively securing this area. I can get through here, but he does have his tanks here. He does have Marines here. And I do see that my Observer is scouting around. I'm trying to decide right now what is the best way for me to approach this area. I could just fly in my Void Rays, but he has these Marines, so that might be a little bit of a problem. So what I do instead is I try to charge up my Void Rays here so I can drag these Marines off, and that's exactly what happens. And so these Marines are being dragged off. In the meantime, I am moving in my Immortals to try to tank these tanks off, and trying to keep my Void Rays also in position. So I am able to snipe out a couple of tanks in the meantime, and his tanks now are off this position. So really all he has guarding this place are a handful, or multiple handfuls of Marines. So yeah, I have my pylon here now since I lost that. So I pretty much know exactly where this guy is at all times. Zealous moving in on this position. I am trying to deny him as many expansions as possible while I'm saturating my own. Now trying to charge up my Void Rays and do damage to these probes. He has very good positioning on me right now. My Zealot's kind of a little bit of a careless micro right there, but tons of Marines on the field. Let's see how much damage I'll be able to do with my Void Rays, my Immortals, and my Stalkers. I might be able to take this fight out, but Marines are very good against Void Rays as well. But he does have that huge batch of tanks right there, and those Marines I don't have enough units right now. I really need some more Zealots to kind of be a meat shield and as well as a damage dealing against these Marines. So he was able to do a good job holding me off there with all my expensive units. But my Marines coming in right now to try to wipe out what they should have been doing earlier. And these Marines are now going down, and my Void Ray and Stalker are shooting at these Terran players. So in the meantime, I'm still just trying to keep pressure on this guy. He does have this expansion here. He doesn't have tanks, so I realize I have free reign over this base as well. This guy does have a planetary fortress, so now he's finally starting to do a pretty decent job defending this. Probably what I should have done here is just killed that missile turret and then use my Void Ray to try and attack this planetary fortress. I think I was just feeling so confident that I was going to be able to beat this guy. Or, I don't know, maybe I was worried about Marines or something, but that's definitely what I should have done at this point. So now I'm starting to saturate this base a little bit. I really could have gone and taken the high yield in both places if I wanted to. But I think I was just spending my resources. I have tons of resources, so I was just trying to keep going on this push right here. So, yeah, really nice to watch replay sometimes so I can see where I make my mistakes. But yeah, my Immortal now coming in, but he does have these Marines, so I need to wait for a little bit more forces. I finally took out that missile turret, so now I'm doing what I should have done in the beginning, and I'm bringing in those Void Rays, trying to snipe out those Marines a little bit, but he does have quite a bit of Marines, so I am going to be forced to back off right now. I think I might be able to take these Marines off with that Immortal. Looks like that's what I am going to be able to do. Void Rays are pretty powerful still against Marines. It's just money to money. I think Marines are a little bit more cost effective. So finally the Planetary Fortress does go down to those Void Rays. That's what I kind of like about Void Rays. You know, they get that good firepower behind them that you don't really always get with Colossus. They're a little bit more vulnerable. So yeah, these tanks going down on the sledge right now. Marines coming in to reinforce his position. This guy is just struggling to keep a base alive. He's got like 16 mules here. Okay, he's got like 5, but he's got a lot of mules. And a Marine's trying to reinforce his position, but he really just doesn't have all that much production right now. He has pretty much nothing. He has an SCV and some stim packs in production. So at this point, this guy will be hard-pressed to eke out a victory. So just going to give it away. I mean, I do end up winning this match. I wanted to show you guys on Kulas Ravine what is a pretty effective strategy. I kind of like to call this the Terran containment strategy. And like I said, lots of times right off the bat, the Terran, since I'm able to kind of pick away at the Marines and their supply depots, I am able sometimes to just go in and win immediately. In this case, you kind of saw how I dealt with getting access to their base, because the tricky part about fighting Terran is that they just have so much defense. They're really able to reinforce their positions well between bunkers and siege tanks, and pumping out Marines and all that jazz. And Planetary Fortresses, they're just really the defensive race, and they are very hard to fight against because of that. So I guess this is kind of showing you how I deal with that. I like to use Immortals and Void Rays against that, and then Zealots to back them up, because Zealots are kind of a nice unit. They're pretty meaty. And while you're making gas-expensive units like Void Rays, you really have a lot of minerals left over, so why not just morph in some Zealots? So that's kind of what I do with that. So yeah, this is pretty much the game right here. This guy still does have a pretty decent force, so I guess we could look at this battle and see what happens here. I've got 3 Immortals and tons of Zealots and some Void Rays. Sentries finally right now. I guess I'm trying to prevent any kind of backing off he might try to do. Sentries are great. So I'm getting position right now. This is kind of how I like to set up Immortals first, and I'm careful not to block off my Zealots. I guess in this time they still were blocked off. And here are the Sentries are what I'm talking about. I'm trying to split up the forces a little bit so that these tanks might be hard-pressed to attack those Immortals. But yeah, pretty much that's how it goes. This is how the game went, and that is gonna be a GG. And this guy said he got noobed by Void Rays. Yeah, and yeah, that's my response to him. I give him a little. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that 1v1. I will be playing more 1v1s and be putting that up for you to show you guys kind of what I've been doing and what's kind of happening in the higher level of play. These aren't professional matches per se, but I think they're pretty good for the most part. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of Maze Esports.